Never tell too much after 40 if you want a peaceful life. There comes a point in life when noise stops feeling exciting and starts feeling exhausting. When you are young, you talk because you want to be seen. You explain yourself because you want to be understood. You share your dreams because you believe everyone will be happy for you. You speak about your pain because you hope someone will carry it with you. And for a while, that feels natural. It feels human. It feels harmless. But after 40, life teaches you something most people learn too late. Not everything in your heart needs to become words. Not every plan needs an audience. Not every wound needs to be displayed. Not every truth needs to be announced. Because peace does not come from being known by everyone. Peace comes from being protected from everyone who does not deserve access to you. After 40, you begin to understand that too much talking creates too many openings. The more people know, the more opinions they offer. The more opinions they offer, the more confusion enters your life. What started as a simple goal becomes heavy with doubt. What began as joy becomes exposed to envy. What was once sacred becomes ordinary because you handed it to careless minds. There is a quiet sorrow that comes from telling too much to the wrong people. You tell them what you are building, and instead of support, they question you. You tell them what hurt you, and instead of compassion, they store it for later. You tell them what you hope for, and instead of encouragement, they measure your chances and silently wait to see whether you fail. Not everyone who listens cares. Some listen to judge. Some listen to compare. Some listen to collect details they may one day use against you. That is why maturity is not only learning how to speak, it is learning when silence is wiser. After 40, your life has already shown you enough. You have loved people who misunderstood you. You have trusted people who disappointed you. You have explained yourself to those who were never interested in understanding. You have spent energy proving your intentions only to discover that some people had already decided who you were before you opened your mouth. And when you look back, you realize one painful truth: many of your heaviest battles did not come from what happened to you. They came from what happened after you told the wrong people about it. Silence after 40 is not weakness. It is self-respect. It is emotional intelligence. It is spiritual discipline. It is the decision to stop placing your inner world in careless hands. There is something powerful about a person who no longer feels the need to explain every choice. A person who moves quietly, decides carefully, and reveals only what is necessary begins to carry a different kind of strength. It is the strength of someone who has been broken by noise and rebuilt by stillness. The strength of someone who has learned that privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is protection. You do not need to tell everyone how much money you have, because money attracts more than admiration. It attracts expectation. It attracts hidden resentment. It attracts people who start calculating your worth in terms of what they can get from you. The moment some people think you are doing well, they no longer see your heart. They see your usefulness. You do not need to tell everyone your next move, because unfinished plans are fragile. Dreams, in their early stage, need shelter, not exposure. The world has a strange way of weakening things that are spoken too soon. Sometimes the excitement of telling people becomes a replacement for the discipline of doing the work. You talk, people praise you, and your mind mistakes their praise for progress. But nothing has been built yet. Nothing has changed yet. The life you want will not come because people know about it. It will come because you worked on it in silence until it became real. You do not need to tell everyone about your family issues, because not everyone hears those stories with love. Some people will smile in front of you and feed on your brokenness in private. Some will turn your suffering into conversation. Some will reduce your pain to entertainment. Family struggles are heavy enough without becoming public material for people with empty hearts. You do not need to tell everyone when your heart is lonely. Loneliness is a dangerous place to speak from. When you are emotionally empty, you become vulnerable to the wrong kind of comfort. You may overshare with people who have not earned your trust simply because they offered you attention at the right moment. But attention is not care. Curiosity is not loyalty, and temporary comfort is not safe connection. After 41 of the greatest forms of wisdom is learning to sit with your feelings before speaking from them. Not every emotion deserves expression in the moment it appears. Anger needs cooling. Pain needs understanding. Disappointment needs perspective. And loneliness needs discernment. Too many people ruin relationships, opportunities, and their own peace because they speak while wounded, react while emotional, and reveal too much while unstable. Then later, when clarity returns, they regret how much of themselves they gave away in a temporary storm. A peaceful life requires boundaries, and one of the most important boundaries is verbal restraint. You do not have to answer every question. You do not have to give details to satisfy curiosity. You do not have to explain why you changed. You do not have to defend every decision that protects your soul. Some people will call you distant when you stop oversharing. Some will call you cold when you stop explaining. Some will say you have changed when you finally begin to value your peace more than their access. Let them say it. Growth always looks rude to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. There is a reason peaceful people often speak less. It is not because they have nothing to say. It is because they have learned the price of unnecessary words. Words can invite conflict. Words can create misunderstanding. Words can expose dreams before they are ready. Words can hand power to those who never deserved it. Sometimes your next level in life is hidden behind one simple discipline: say less. Say less about your goals. Say less about your fears. Say less about your money. Say less about your relationships. Say less about your pain. Say less about what you are healing from. Not because these things do not matter, but because they matter too much to be placed before everyone. Speak to God. Speak to your journal. Speak to the one or two people who have proven their loyalty through time, truth, and silence. But do not pour your soul into every open ear. An open ear is not always a safe heart. After 40, peace becomes more valuable than attention. You stop trying to impress rooms that would not carry you if you collapsed. You stop chasing validation from people who do not know your battles. You stop feeling the need to announce every lesson, every purchase, every connection, every plan. You begin to realize that a quiet life is not an empty life. It is a focused life, a protected life, a dignified life. And there is dignity in mystery. There is dignity in restraint. There is dignity in becoming harder to read, not because you are playing games, but because you finally understand the value of your own interior life. The truth is, many people do not know how to handle your honesty. They ask questions, not because they care deeply, but because information gives them a sense of importance. They want access, not responsibility. They want details, not depth. They want your story, but they do not want the burden of holding it with grace. And when you give too much to such people, you often leave the conversation feeling strangely empty. That emptiness is your spirit, telling you that you spoke beyond the level of safety. Listen to that feeling. It will save you. After 40, your peace should be treated like a sacred home. Not everyone gets a key. Not everyone enters every room. Not everyone needs to know what is under repair, what is being rebuilt, and what is still fragile. A wise person does not invite a crowd into a place that is still healing. There are seasons when silence does more for your life than explanation ever could. Silence protects your strategy. Silence protects your recovery. Silence protects your joy. Silence protects your becoming. When you build in silence, you grow without interruption. You heal without performance. You make decisions without being pulled apart by 100 outside voices. You become intimate with your own judgment again. And that is priceless. Because one of the saddest things that can happen in midlife is losing trust in your own inner voice, from listening too much to everyone else. You have lived long enough to know this. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your transformation. Some people only liked the older version of you because it was easier to control, easier to predict, easier to access. The moment you become quieter, stronger, more private, they grow uncomfortable. Why? Because your silence removes their power to interfere. And that is another reason to protect it. Do not confuse being open with being available. Do not confuse honesty with self-exposure. Do not confuse connection with emotional nakedness. Real maturity is selective. Real wisdom is measured. Real peace is guarded. This does not mean becoming bitter. It does not mean becoming emotionally dead. It does not mean pushing everyone away. It means learning the difference between healthy openness and dangerous transparency. It means understanding that your life is not public property. It means recognizing that you can be kind without being exposed, loving without being naive, and honest without telling everything. Some of the most powerful people in the world move quietly. They do not announce every battle. They do not explain every absence. They do not narrate every process. They simply do the work, endure the season, and let the results speak. There is a lesson in that. Your life becomes lighter when you stop carrying the burden of constant explanation. And perhaps that is one of the greatest freedoms after 40, the freedom to no longer narrate your existence for the comfort of others. You do not owe everyone your story. You do not owe everyone your reasons. You do not owe everyone access to your private thoughts. You do not owe everyone updates on your healing. You do not owe everyone proof of your progress. Your responsibility is not to make everyone understand you. Your responsibility is to protect what God, life, pain, and time have been building inside you. So, choose quiet when quiet is holy. Choose restraint when restraint is wise. Choose privacy when privacy is protective. Choose fewer words and deeper discernment. Choose peace over performance. Choose self-respect over exposure. Because after 40, life is no longer asking you to prove yourself. It is asking you to preserve yourself. And maybe that is the deepest lesson of all. The older you get, the more you realize that peace is not found in saying more. It is found in needing to say less. If you want a peaceful life, after 40, stop telling everybody everything. Let some things remain between you and God. Let some dreams grow in the dark. Let some healing happen in private. Let some victories arrive quietly. Let some chapters close without announcement. Not everything important needs witnesses. Some of the holiest things in life grow in silence. And when you finally understand that, you stop chasing the relief of being heard by everyone and start protecting the blessing of being at peace within yourself. That is not isolation. That is wisdom. That is not fear. That is maturity. That is not hiding. That is choosing a life no longer ruled by noise. So say less, protect more, trust carefully, move quietly, and let your peace become louder than your words. Because in the end, the people who truly love you do not need every detail to honor your journey. And the people who demand every detail were never safe enough to receive it. After 40, a peaceful life is built not only by what you do, but also by what you no longer feel the need to say.